Hi folks, I join you on what has got to be the least April feeling April ever. It's glorious. And I've got a glorious little gun. If you remember, at the BSS, I had a look at this. This is the Zoli Nobile, which is a 410 Sporter. And it is very, very nice. Let's do the oily bits and then I'll talk about my shooting impressions. All right, so 32-inch tubes, also available 29.5 and 28. It's an 11 to 5mm tapered top rib, which looks to be hand checkered, which gives you that really nice kind of finish to it. The barrels are nicely struck off, deeply blued. We've got ventilated mid and top rib, steel front bead. It's multi-choked, 3-inch chamber. The fore end is a nice rounded sporter. And really, the gun, until you pop the fore end off, you don't kind of realise how dinky those 410 barrels are. I would class that as kind of a lightweight monoblock. Coming back into the action, it is nicely finished with kind of an English floral engraving, kind of quite old-fashioned but nicely executed, with kind of a rosette with roses in the centre on the bottom. On the sides, again, there's kind of a nice little, nicely figured kind of pattern of roses over an acanthus background. A little bit of detail over the trunnion. There is matting on the detonation around the top, and then a little bit of a wreath coming down on the top lever, bordering on the top tang, and the safety is quite nicely proportioned and nice to use. It's a selector safety. The trigger unit is a removable trigger. The brakes are nice and light, but not quite as crisp as I'd like, to be honest. But on a scale of like 410 triggers I've ever used, it's easily the nicest 410 triggers I've ever shot. The grip is well proportioned. It's actually based on 20 bore action, and is available, I gather. You can get this as a set with 28 and 20 bore barrels. So if you are inclined to enjoy kind of small bore calibers, then you can get yourself a little set with these. We have a laser checkered fore end. The wood is actually quite bonny. It's nothing like super flash, it's not loud, but it is nicely figured and nicely finished with kind of a lacquer. Laser checkered, and the palm swell is notable because it's just nicely proportioned. It's not too much, not too little, just enough. It's the Goldilocks of palm swells. Coming back into this sort of sporter dimensioned stock, I think it's pretty standard dimensions. I've not measured it, but it comes up nicely for me. And then finished off with a Zulli recoil pad. The gun is heavier than I thought. Handling this, I thought it was a 7.5 pound gun. It's actually 7.14 pound, just a midges under 8 pounds. Balance wise though, it is quite notably barrel heavy, and I think that's quite deliberate. All right, I think if you were shooting this and it was neutrally balanced, it would be like shooting, it would be like a lightsaber. It would just be, all the weight would be back here, and it would just be far too wandy. As it stands though, with that weight out front, it does make it quite deliberate, and I think that's very intentional. Lockup is, there are a pair of lumps that protrude from the bottom of the monoblock that locate into the action floor, and then we can see the bite that protrudes from the front of the action face that locks up with what I presume is an H-bar. So all very nicely done, nicely engine turning on the monoblock there. Very, very well fit and finished, I would say. The wood to metal fit and metal to metal fit on this thing is excellent. And when you mount it up, it doesn't feel like any 410 I've ever shot. Absolutely. It feels like a 20 bore. It doesn't feel like a 12, it feels like a 20. Because you do very definitely have to be quite deliberate with it. It's not something you can just sort of set away that will finish off a swing for you. You do have to be super deliberate with it. But it's a hell of a lot of fun to shoot. I mean, obviously, there's zero recoil. It's quite quiet. And it's really only when you pull the trigger that you notice that it's a 410. It's huge fun to shoot. You definitely have to be on your A game to shoot it. Don't get me wrong. 410 is basically clear shooting on hard mode. But I have shot this at targets that I wouldn't dream normally of shooting with a 410, and it will break them. And I think that's more a function of the design than of the capabilities of the cartridge. I think the cartridge is actually capable of more than most people give it credence for, but it's in a package that isn't like shooting a Nerf gun, that isn't like shooting a child's toy. When you put it in something that actually handles and performs, it turns out you can do quite a lot with a 410. You do, however, have to be very, very accurate. The margin for error with a 410 is very, very small indeed. It's multi-choked. I've got 1/4 in, and it's breaking stuff, no bother. I think there was a couple of targets where I had it on the Sporting today. There was a couple of targets that I just thought, nah, there's no point in shooting that. But that was more my failings than necessarily I'm sure the gun would be able to break them. I've tried 14 and 18 gram carts through it, 18 gram kind of magnums effectively. There's absolutely bugger all recoil. It shoots very, very well. Kind of no notes, to be honest. It definitely is in the I want to go club in terms of I've taken this out. Everybody that's seen me with it kind of comes ambling over and wants to have a shot, and then will have to go and buy themselves a kind of 410s to come out and have a whirl with it. And it's definitely done a few demo runs whilst I've had it. Been a lot of fun. Yeah, it's been interesting. I think I could learn to shoot this given enough time, because it's very unlike what I normally shoot and very unlike what I normally test. You know, shooting 410 is definitely not for the faint of heart. But I definitely think, given maybe a couple more weeks with it, I could learn to shoot this very well. I mean, shooting skeet with it's hilarious because it's well within the capability. It's just very, very, very easy to do. And I think you could show people up with it. A very interesting gun. RRP. Around about, I reckon you'll pick one up for around about 3.5. I don't know how many they're bringing into the country. I know some of you may be shocked by that number. Trust me, if this was a 12 bore and it was 3.5, I don't think you'd sniff at it. The fact that it's a 410 and it's 3.5, you are really, you have to want this gun. You want this capability. Something that is set up that you could shoot very easily at competitive players, or you could take it out on the game field and shoot appropriate birds with it. But I can't think of another gun like it that's like set up like this, i.e. a proper competition 410 that's available in the UK. I know in the US there's a lot of people shoot sub gauges and will have barrel sets for blouses and 410s that they shoot for various for disciplines and whatever. But in the UK it's something of an oddity, mainly because of ammunition prices. In the UK, 410 is significantly more expensive than 12 gauge. I'm not sure how it works in the US. Feel free to drop me a notification in the comments. I'm sure you can tell me. But yeah, this thing, man, it's nice. I've had a lot of people interested in it. It's certainly had a lot of, generated a lot of buzz. Yeah. As I said, no notes. It comes cased with ickle teeny tiny chokes. It's standard Zoli fair, silver soldered barrels. It's well screwed together. I think they've really got their act together when it comes to quality. And it really is down to the market coming around to the idea of Zoli as a brand, rather than Zoli kind of fixing anything. They fixed their product, right? The product is now very, very good. It's really now for the market to catch up. Whether or not you want one of these, very much up to you. But I think if you wanted something, if you really want a 410 that you can shoot seriously, look no further. Guys, I hope you enjoyed it. As usual, like, subscribe, please consider joining. If you want discount off a set of electronic ears, the discount code is up here. The merch is available up here. And of course, do please consider joining the channel. Supporting the channel by joining is one of the best ways you can help me out. But if you can't afford to do that, by all means, drop me a like, comment, the usual stuff. Chaps, see you next time.